That looks like way too many questions.
No, I just highlighted a few.
Ideas in case nobody's asking things.
Well, look, if nobody's asking thing and there's 3 people out there, you need to be out here all that long.
All right. Hi guys, can you comment if you can hear us?
Testing. Is this technology working?
I just can't hear it through my headphones, so. Cliff Bowden says, welcome, Mike. Okay, we've got sound. Good. Okay, want to go ahead?
Hi, everybody. My name is Mike Tyson. Not related to the fighter or the chicken people, either one. But today is my first day as the new senior pastor at Atascocita United Methodist Church. And I'm really excited to be here. And so we've got Madeline and Leanne here who are also sort of moderating. So they're in the room. And Madeline is going to feed me questions. So I think this is a Q&A. And so I'm here to let you see me, make sure I don't have 2 heads or 4 eyes or something. And here to get to know you and let you get to know me, I guess, because I can't hear from you other than your questions. So let's get started.
Okay, we've already got one from Facebook. Pam Palmer asks, Mike, what are you looking forward to at AUMC?
Well, it's Pam, right?
Pam.
Hi, Pam. So I'm excited to work with the lay leadership here. We have a history of really strong lay leadership. But to be really honest, I'm also really excited to get back in the pulpit. I've been 5 years out of the pulpit, and I'm looking forward to the exercise of preaching every week. So I'm really excited about that as well.
Why don't you let the people know a little bit what you've been doing prior to this?
Oh, sure. So prior to this, I was appointed to the conference office where I was the director of the Vibrant Church Initiative. So I work with churches all over the annual conference that we're trying to become stronger. One of the churches that participated in that VCI program is Atascocita United Methodist Church. And I was on the team that worked with it. So I know a fair amount about the church coming into this. So I'm excited to be a part of that as well. And I know what a great church this is and what a great history it has.
Carolyn Rashaw, pardon pronunciation if I get any wrong, asks, does your family plan to move to our area?
Hi, Carolyn. And no, my family's not going to physically move here. It's really just my wife and myself anyway. I have a daughter that's a college-age student. The rest of mine are grown children and live all over the place. But my wife, as I went into the ministry at age 38, followed me all over the state. She works for a company that has an office in the Galleria, and so it's her turn to be close to the office. So I'll be commuting in from where I live over kind of near the Woodway and Chimney Rock area. But I'm already a member of the Chamber of Commerce and certainly plan to be involved in the community around here.
Go ahead and leave your guys' questions in the comment section if you have any. I pulled some questions offline before this, so we're just going to throw some of those at Pastor Mike. Let's see. What can some of our church members do to encourage you? Like what works best for you?
Well, I always like to hear that you like what we're doing, you like what the staff is doing. I love to hear when my staff has done good things and you're appreciative of that. I will say this, I always want to be on people's prayer list. I've publicly stated on more than one occasion, I never want to be removed from anybody's prayer list because I need prayers all the time. So knowing that people are praying for me certainly encourages me and makes me feel good.
Nice. Rachel Temple asks, what called you to ministry personally?
That's a good question and a long story, Rachel. But I was a commercial lender in Houston. I'd been involved at St. Luke's really all my life since I was 7 years old. And at the age of about 37, I began to feel God calling me to something. And at first I thought it was kind of a long-term case of indigestion, but it really was God tugging on my heartstrings. And so being a banker, my assumption was I was supposed to go run a nonprofit, go work at the Red Cross or something like that. But as I talked to my pastors and did some discernment, I recognized that God was in fact calling me to the professional ministry, which was a shocking event for myself, my wife, and most of my friends, frankly. But so once I sort of got done laughing at God that things must be so bad that he would call someone like me to the ministry, I talked to my wife, and so my wife was not particularly excited about the concept of becoming a pastor's wife. And so I told God, said, I hear you, but we're a package deal. And so if you want me, you have to make it good with her. And after about a year of waiting, in which I took one seminary class at Perkins in Houston, she came and said, okay, let's do this. And from there, at the ripe old age of 38, we sold our home in Houston and moved to Frisco, where I was then associate pastor at Lover's Lane while I was attending seminary. That was a long answer. Sorry.
So apparently it's Calvin on Carolyn's profile, but he said, what do you think is the main reason churched people come to church and the main reason that non-churched people come to church?
That's an interesting question. Well, I think churched people, people who were raised in the church, come to church, I think, because it's become a habit. I mean, it's expectation. It's what we do. But also, I think they're coming because they're getting something out of it. They're getting a relationship with God. They're feeling connected to God, and they have connections with other believers. So I think that's probably why the churched people come. I think unchurched people come because I think within all of us there's sort of a God hole that in our heart that's looking to be filled, and that can be filled when they find authentic community and discover a real relationship with God. I think that's in part why unchurched people respond and begin to attend church. Certainly that's been my experience. So I hope that answered your question, Calvin.
All right. Sue and Brad Schreiner are watching, and Sue says, Brad Schreiner was the first Scoutmaster at AUMC and wants to know, what is your position concerning the Scout program at AUMC?
I love the Scout program at AUMC. It's a big part of the history of this church, and certainly as this do everything to support it. So I think Scouting is a great program. My dad was a big Boy Scout and actually served on the board. So I love Scouting. And I hope it continues to be a vital part of AUMC going forward.
All right. Bruce Stone said at the same time, or are we that old?
I was there at the same time. I had just graduated from college and was actually with my wife. We were starting a young couple Sunday school class in 1985. So I don't know how old you are, but yeah, I'm that old.
Carol Bowden asks, have you been on an Emmaus walk?
I have not been on an Emmaus walk, but my wife has. And one of the churches I served in Lufkin did a lot of Emmaus. And I know it's a vital program. And frankly, if you get enough people that have gone to Emmaus, it can change your church.
Lauren Santerre asks, what has been your biggest theological question in your faith journey? How have you dealt with it, and where are you now with it? It's a big one.
That's a big question. And who asked that question?
Lauren Santerre.
Lauren. You know, Lauren, I think for me, the biggest theological struggle that I have is, well, I did a funeral for somebody, a 36-year-old man that died from cancer. And, you know, when those things happen, we ask these why questions, really don't have any answers. And I struggle with that. I struggle being a pastor, looking into the eyes of a widow whose husband was 36 years old. And I can't tell her why this happened, other than, you know, there's brokenness in the world. And so that is a continual struggle for me. I mean, you know, this is a faithful Christian who was praying for healing, and why wasn't that answered? Whereas somebody else maybe got that miracle. And so that's a constant struggle. And if I ever get that figured out, I'll let you know. But that's a big struggle for me as I am a pastor and am working with people that are experiencing the tragedies and the sadness of life. Hope that answers your question.
Pam Palmer wants to know, besides prayer, what can we do to help you settle in?
Well, one of the things that SPR, I think, is asking everyone to do is to make a little video of you and your family and say, hi, I'm Pam Palmer, and these are my kids, and this is my dog, and welcome. So our pictorial directory is not terribly up to date, and so with the whole COVID thing, gosh, everybody looks like a bandit anyway with their mask on. So I would love to see your families and your faces. So I can start, which I'm not particularly blessed at being awesome at names and faces, but I would like to start getting to know the folks here, and that's a great way to do it given the pandemic. So that would be a great thing, Pam.
Awesome. Jeanette Stevens wants to know, do you expect any change in church Sunday schedule?
Golly, Jeanette, I don't know. I mean, we're still trying to find our way back from the whole COVID thing. And I've really looked everywhere, and I can't find a post-pandemic playbook for churches. And so I just don't know. I have no plans to make any changes. I mean, right now we've got 2 services. We have plenty of space in those 2 services, so there's not a numeric reason to make any changes to our schedule at the moment. So, but we have a whole team, sort of back to church team, that is working and considering all of this as we move along. But I really don't plan on making any immediate changes for sure.
Let's see. Let's pick from one of my questions. Okay, I thought this would be a good one. What is your favorite mode of transportation? Plane, train, automobile, bike, or boat?
Well, I guess it depends on where I'm going, right? So I've got an old Suburban that's got 170,000 miles on it, and I love driving that. I've driven that as part of my previous job all over the eastern part and southeastern part of Texas. But probably my favorite mode, if I'm not in a hurry to go anywhere, is my sailboat. I have a Hunter 31 sailboat that I'm partners in with my father. And so if I don't want to go anywhere fast, that is one of my favorite modes of transportation, is my sailboat. And I have raced in about 5 now Harvest Moon Regattas, which is a race that goes from Galveston down to Port Aransas. Unfortunately, it's canceled this year, but it would be happening this Thursday, I think, under normal circumstances. So that's something that I like to do as well. So, but I do like to sail a lot. And my dog actually is a great first name. So she comes along with me as well.
So you kind of answered this one just a little bit, but Rachel Temple asks, do you have any hidden talents or hobbies?
I have lots of hobbies. My wife tells me I have too many hobbies. But I like to hunt, I like to fish, I like to play golf, I like to train my dog, and I've already told you I like to sail. So my wife is like, just pick 3, but I really like to do all of them. As far as hidden talents, it's not hidden, but I'm a pretty good cook. So.
Okay. I don't have any current questions. What are 3 apps on your phone you can't live without?
3 apps on my phone I can't live without. Predict Wind, which is a weather forecast for sailing. Venmo, because I'm always paying my children for things. Let's see, what's the third one? By the weather app. I mean, I'm on that one all the time. Plus I've got some of my home is smart, so the app that controls my air conditioner, I couldn't live without that for sure. So.
Okay.
We need some more questions out there.
Come on, guys. What is one worship song or lyric that has really spoken to your heart, or just favorite worship music band song?
Well, Amazing Grace is just always speaks to my heart. And then there's one by Jenny Owens called I Am. It's an older song, but that always speaks to me. It talks about God calling Moses, and it's like, who am I? And to do this, and basically God says, don't worry about it, I am. And so she goes through Moses and goes through Mary, and so that one always speaks to me. And then one of my favorite ones that I actually sometimes listen to on my way to worship is a song called Let It Rise. There's actually a gospel version of it. I think it is much older, but Big Daddy Weave sings it. It's a good rocking song to get me in the mood for worship. So.
Awesome. So Bruce asks first he says he really appreciates your work with us on the VCI.
Oh, well, great. Thank you. Not everyone did, but thank you.
However, and I think he probably, knowing Bruce, he might say this in jest a little bit, thinking of canceling his membership so I can park in the guest parking places created from the VCI process.
I'll give you my parking place.
He says, change my mind.
You can park in my parking place. So, but the guest parking is an interesting thing because it's the best parking. But and you want your guests to feel welcome, and it's important that they feel welcome. And interestingly, typically a person makes a decision as to whether or not they're going to come back in the first 4 minutes of arriving on your campus. And so we're having a place for them that's easy to park is important. So I hope that you can get behind that, Bruce. And if there's ever a pastor parking place, you can have it on Sundays.
Just keep asking.
So Calvin asks, will your wife attend our church?
Absolutely, Calvin. She will attend our church. So she'll be here on Sunday, and much to her chagrin, I'm going to make her stand up and wave at all of you.
And her name is Michelle, right?
Her name is Michelle with one L.
Awesome. Rachel asks, when do you think we will be able to attend church with more than 50 people? We have plenty of space, even with it taped off.
Now. So the COVID reopening team has already made that decision that we can have more than 50 people. So so come to worship on Sunday. I'd love to meet you.
Awesome. Shelley Royer asks, favorite mission trip, where and why?
I guess my favorite mission trip was to Honduras when I was working at Lover's Lane. I had 2 teams that came down. And so one came down for a week, and we built a house in Honduras, in the capital city, Tegucigalpa. and which landing in the airport is very exciting. There's some YouTube videos of it. And so I had a team that came down for 1 week, loved it, built a house. We bought all of the ice cream from an ice cream man and gave it to all the children of the neighborhood Magote that we were building a house in. And then I stayed in Honduras a week by myself, where I managed to do a little bit of bone fishing. And then I had a second team come down the next week. So I was in Honduras for a total of 3 weeks. And that's probably my very favorite one because I got to build a house, give kids ice cream, and got to bone fish. It was pretty awesome.
Okay, really quick, guys. Hate to do this. The computer we're operating this stream on is about to die, so we've already started another stream on our Facebook page. If you just go back to the AUMC Facebook page and refresh, go ahead and click on that. Commenting. We'll keep answering the questions we haven't answered yet. But before this one ends by itself, I'm going to go ahead and end it. So make sure to click on the other video, and on YouTube, that will be the case as well. So real quick, we're going to switch over.
Sorry about that. Battery